follow along as I start growing this business to 6 figures a year. So if you're a coach consultant and you're struggling to get leads, then this is going to be perfect for you. Spent 10 years in digital marketing as a marketing strategist. So everything that I'm going to be putting out across these videos is from stuff I've done myself, both for myself, managing and growing businesses, but also for clients over the last 10 years plus. And it's also information that I've paid to learn over the last few years as well. So it's a combination of things I've done, things I've learned, and a lot of things sort of in between. So none of it's going to be theory. It's all going to be action based. So I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do over the coming months to grow the business from zero. When I mean zero, I've got 53 followers, no audience on YouTube, nothing. So this is actually starting from the beginning. So it's not sort of looking at the coaches who's got hundreds of thousands of followers and making huge sums of money. This is from someone starting from fresh with the knowledge, yes, but completely from scratch. Small following, both on YouTube and Instagram, no email list, completely from scratch. So let's jump into it. So let's just have a look at the overall strategy and what we're going to be doing. Right. So I've named this the parent growth engine. So the purpose of this is I'm going to be showing people how I would do it. Then on the back end, I'm going to be letting people in so I can teach them how to do it themselves. But these videos should give you enough information to be able to put in place a really good structure to get your business moving forward and not have to worry about leads. So you might be thinking, why listen to me? So like I say, I've spent over a decade in digital marketing, working as a marketing strategist, working with some of the biggest brands in Europe. So here's just a few sort of case studies and some of the accounts I've managed. You can see sort of the performance, really, really strong, the amount of money that's been spent on some of these accounts, and some testimonials below as well. And at the moment, I'm spending just under $500,000 in ad spend. So everything you're going to learn is from someone who's actually doing the work. So it's not fluff. It's not from these so-called gurus that are just teaching stuff that's got no experience. It's from someone who has a clue what they're doing. So let's really just dig into the parent growth engine and how I'm going to use this to generate clients and build a business to 6 figures. So first of all, we have the lead attraction. The main ways I'm going to be using this is through organic, which is Instagram, paid ads through Meta, and YouTube, which is watching now. So these three parts are going to be the traffic. With any business, if you don't have traffic, it doesn't matter if you're a local store or online, if you've got no traffic, you've got no business. So we need to really feed the business. And like I mentioned, I'm completely starting from scratch. So I need to get the traffic coming in. So the organic is looking at creating reels, creating stories, and really providing value on the stories and my Instagram profile and creating a mixture of reels that will get attraction. So I look at reels a bit differently to some people. So I like to have the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel. Top of the funnel for me is the 6 second reels, sort of go to a mass broader audience, very easy to make, and you pump them out. And this is really good to generate the traffic. The other ones is sort of the educational and credibility. These ones are ones where you maybe speaking for 30 seconds to maybe a minute or two, providing a value, or it's a client testimonial, and you're really digging into things. So you really need to understand what it is that you're creating organically and what the purpose is. A lot of people will create organic content with no purpose behind, no objective. You need to understand why you're creating this and what outcome is it going to get. Same YouTube, again, very similar. However, YouTube is more of the nurturing. It does generate the traffic, but it also provides nurturing because the videos on YouTube are a lot longer. So if you're willing to spend, say, 20, 30 minutes with me on a YouTube video, chances are you're going to be sold on me and my methodologies. So this really builds trust. Hence why I'm doing these videos. The paid ads, these are the short boosts, really amplify, get things moving quick. And if you've got no audience to start with, then these are perfect. However, I would use all three regardless. It's just I might have to lean more into paid ads to start with because I don't have any audience. However, if you've got an audience and you're not starting from scratch exactly like me, then use all three. Start running paid ads. Just get them running. Make sure you don't just set them up like a lot of people teach where it's like one campaign, one ad set, and one ad. Make sure you set it up to reflect Andromeda's update. So what you want to do, you want to have, well, I'll touch on this a little bit later, and the next video I will go into a lot more details in terms of the creatives, the ad copy, and the hooks, and how to really structure the videos and images. Paid ads, you really want to have a structure of one campaign, 3, 4 ad sets, and preferably 10 plus ads in each one. It does sound a lot. However, you can quickly make these, and I will show you how to quickly make these after as well. The reason why you want to have more creatives and less ad sets and campaigns, Meta now has the ability of knowing who to push your ads to. So what you want to do, you want to provide Meta with the inputs, such as the creatives and ad copy, and Meta will provide the outputs. So just make sure you're providing creative variants to allow Meta to optimize. The next part is these three will generate these three will be the traffic generation that will these three will be the lead attraction that will generate the new prospects coming into my ecosystem. When they are in my ecosystem, the job is to nurture them. So my profile, if you go to my profile, it only has 53 photos, but it has key aspects on there. So your bio, you need to really sell who you are, credibility, and have a clear call to action. You don't want to be sort of fluffy, you're not getting to the point. You want something to land on your profile, read your bio, know exactly what it's for. As well as that, make sure you've got a link as well going into your YouTube so you can really start nurturing people. Or if you've got other documents that are really helpful and collect leads from, use that. Just make sure you're not just leaving your bio blank with no link in, because it's totally pointless. From that, with your highlights, you really want to be standing out and showing that you are credible. So if you've got case studies, testimonials, make sure you're adding them. And don't just like think, oh, I'll just add one or two, add as many as possible. You really want someone to be sold on you. The more case studies and testimonials you've got, the better it's going to be. It's going to be an easier sell. Like I always say, make sure the conversion comes on 80% of your marketing, not on the 20% of your sales call. So a lot of people, what will happen is they'll try and get the sales call to do all the work, and marketing just do a little bit. So instead of say doing 80% on the sales call, 20% marketing, flip it. Make sure you put more effort into the marketing and showing you are a credible coach, consultant, and it just makes it easier for people to convert. Also now, your system, how do you get someone from point A to point B, and what's included? To make sure you have that, the credibility, those are the two main ones. And if if you've got like a nice lifestyle, you like to go nice places, you travel a lot, add that as well. Anything that resonates with your ICP and you think would sell to them, and they would be buying into you based on these highlights, add them. Don't go overboard and start adding random stuff. The main ones needs to be the case studies and your system. Underneath that, you want to have a really structured feed. You want that to look really nice. So first of all, you want one pin post or up to three. First one will be a start here, going into a bit more about your story, what you've done in the past, and why this should basically buy into you. The end page of this carousel should show a CTA. So this carousel, the start here, should be really looking into your story, what experience you've gained, the credibility, and a CTA. So the other two or three, these can be a bit more into your systems or your lifestyle. Anything that really adds credibility, add them. As you can see in mine, I've got a couple now. I think I might have changed it to one yesterday, where it's just to start here. But I've just added another one as well, just detailing sort of my overall strategy and how I work with clients and what to expect. Then the Reels, I see this a lot. With Reels, people tend to post a lot of memes and sort of trending videos and things that like are never going to get a client to buy you. One thing to do, look at your Instagram page and just think, would a client view this and view me as an authority figure or look to buy from me? If the answer is no, then just archive. There's no point having memes and trending like silly videos of you dancing, whatever it is, or things that just don't move the needle, and just remove them. On my Instagram, I focus on telling a story for my ICP. My ICP is a dad between sort of the ages 25 to 45, 50, with that, who is time poor and struggling to get leads. So my profile is fully built out to target this person, and just make sure your reels are doing the same. You can add relatability, so family life, I do it all the time, but just make sure that isn't just all what you post, and you're sharing a value on your reels. So have a mixture. What I like to do, I like to have different pillars. So first of all, have credibility, relatability, and also teaching. If you can do these three, that should be enough to make sure when a client falls on your page, they are sold on you and your ideas. So the next part, like I mentioned, is to sort of nurture people. One thing that people completely miss out is they'll run top of funnel ads and they don't run any retargeting. They just leave it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to set up retargeting ads in a unique way because I want people to land on my Instagram profile and have the profile built out, start getting a following. I want people to be retargeted to my profile. So that means I'm going to be looking at people who's visited the last 7 days or 30 days to the profile or interacted or engaged and retarget these people. In the UK, you can't use certain custom audiences, unfortunately. However, if you're not in the UK, what you can do, you can exclude people who sent you a DM. So that means you can retarget people who's interacted but haven't sent you a DM. I can't do that, so mine are going to be slightly different to potential what you could set up. Just make sure you retarget ads based on people who's interacted but haven't sent you a DM. And this is really powerful. People miss out on this, but you've spent this money on a top funnel ad to get people in. Then you're just leaving people. What you want to do, you want to keep nurturing. You want to keep getting people come back to your profile, and that's what the retargeting ads do. So that's going to have top of the funnel. That was the middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel is what we like to use as DM ads. So once you got people who've come through from the top of the funnel, they went through your content, they really like your stuff, but they haven't sent you a DM, you look to target people to send you a direct message. With meta ads, you have the ability of getting people to send you a message through stories. So this is what we're going to do for the bottom of the funnel. We're going to nurture people, get people in, and at the bottom, we're going to make sure we try and get as many people to send us a message to start a conversation, and we use DM ads to do that. Like I mentioned, in the next video, I'm going to be really digging into each nuance and really showing you how to set everything up. I will show you in this video, sort of the top level, but I will be going into a lot more detail. Like I mentioned, so the whole purpose of directing this, so the whole purpose of getting all this traffic from the different sources is to send them into our DMs on Instagram. When they're in our Instagram DMs, we can really start nurturing, having them conversations and really find out, are they a right fit for us? And vice versa. There's no point just taking on a client for the sake of it. You want to make sure your clients you take on are the right clients. Over the years, I've had a lot of bad clients, and the last thing you want is a bad client. They're very energy draining and mentally draining as well. If you've got a bad client, they're constantly on your neck. They're not happy. It doesn't matter what you do. And sometimes it's not your fault if you've got an account or a client that you've done X, Y, Z on, and you just can't get them to where they want to be. Sometimes it just isn't your fault. For example, if you're a fitness coach and you've got a client and they're going through a coaching program and they're not eating right, there's only so much you can do. You can't physically force the food down their neck. And the same with other businesses. Sometimes you just can't get the result for whatever reason. So just make sure when you onboard a client, the client's a perfect fit for you. Not just money, but the perfect fit for you. You don't want bad clients, trust me. So make sure you're nurturing people. By the time they get down to the sort of the end part, they should be fully sold on you, your mechanisms, and how you're going to deliver the result. So realistically, this should weed out quite a lot of people. So the way we set up the ads and the funnel and the nurturing, by the time someone gets to the bottom to be a qualified lead, they should have filled out quite a lot of the dead wood and people that just weren't really a good fit for yourself. So the last part is the sales mechanism. So there's two routes we can go here. You can jump on a sales call, which I'm against. Being a parent, I don't want to be jumping on sales calls. I don't have the time. I don't want to spend my days taking sales calls. I will jump on a blueprint call when a client has onboarded to discuss next steps and how we're going to get the business moving forward. But I don't want to do sales calls. So what I do, I use a micro offer instead. The way I'm going to do it, I'm going to get people into my school community. This is going to be a free course to show them how to generate leads using meta ads. So if you do want this, just send me a message on Instagram and I will send you it. It's free. And what this does, it's an entry into my world. So the purpose of this, it's free, it provides a lot of value, and people get sold to me. So they know I'm not just trying to get a little bit of quick cash off people. They know I'm providing value and really helping businesses grow. Once they've went through that, there is an offer to join my main course or to go through the micro offer. The micro offer is a condensed version of my course. So the best way to think of a micro offer is, I'll go back to a fitness analogy. If you're a fitness instructor and you've got a 16-week course and you can deliver the results in 16 weeks, what you want to do, you want to condense it to maybe 4 to 6. The reason why you want to deliver real value, don't leave anything out, give them the same level of access that you would to any other client. However, make it so they don't get the full result. So you want to leave them wanting more. So this 4 to 6 weeks, depending on what your niche is, will allow the client to get on board so they can see that you get great results for other clients as well. And they can really get part of the community. So don't think of a micro offer as just a cheap little product that you put together like a daft PDF or something like really poor, like you've seen numerous times. Make sure it's an entry into your world. The pricing, if, for example, if you charge, say, £500 for your main course, just charge £50 to £100. We set the price low to get people to go from being a consumer to a paying client. And if it's £50 to £100, it's a lot easier than trying to sell £500 off the bat. So just make sure you look to create some sort of micro offer of the main offer. All you need to do is just take a little bit out of the main offer, just give them a condensed version of this. Same level of access, same result, just to only get a partial amount. So once that's done and you've got people on the micro offer, what I'm going to be doing is selling people on the main offer. My main offer, what I'm going to be releasing, is going to be how to really set all this out and really digging into the nuances and providing that support to allow people to get from inconsistent leads and trying to rely on word of mouth to being able to generate consistent leads each month and being able to just turn on paid ads and get the traffic flow needed. So this is how I'm going to structure it. So top is going to be the attraction. The next part is the nurturing. The next part is getting the traffic into a qualified lead, taking them onto my micro offer. From the micro offer, selling on to my main product. And after that, providing a really good service. Once people have joined my main offer, the fulfillment is the next part. A lot of people think the main part of a business is just to get people on board. However, they completely miss out the main part, which is getting client results. There's no point spending all this time, all this money, and all the effort to set up the system, to make the ads, to check the ads, to optimize it, and all this stuff, if you're going to provide a really poor service. Because what happens, you get really negative reviews and you get really unhappy clients. So you're not going to grow a business if your clients are unhappy and you've got negative feedback. So when we onboard clients, we like to make sure we've got all the information that we need to ensure it's a smooth, seamless process. The way I've set this up for myself to make sure clients get a seamless onboarding process is using a Trello and Typeform. So every time a client says yes to make a payment on Stripe, which redirects to a landing page on Gamma. This page on Gamma has a Typeform. They fill this information in and it is passed into Trello, so I know who signed up. On the Trello board, I've set it into days, so Monday to Friday. So when someone comes on board, they'll go into new onboarding first. What I do then, I select the client and put them into the different days. Because what you want to do, you want to spread your client work out throughout the week. It's no point me putting it all on Tuesday or Wednesday. I want to spread it out throughout the week just to make sure that I can handle the work. And like I mentioned with kids, I don't want to be leaving yourself short on some days and overworked on the next. So I want to really have a structured days. And this is where my 90-minute work blocks come into play as well, which I'll be touching on in the future videos. But I work on 90-minute blocks. It's scientifically proven that if you do your work in 90 minutes, you're a lot more productive. That's if you solely focus on one action. A lot of people try to multitask, but it's physically not possible to multitask. Your mind does allow you to switch tasks rapidly and quickly. However, it sets you back 12 minutes each time. There's been studies done that you can't multitask. It's just not possible. You can't have multiple tabs open and do different things, but you're not solely focused on one thing. So the course as well, what I'm going to be releasing in due course, shows you how to work in them 90-minute blocks. After that, like I say, you've got your onboarding call. So once you've onboarded, you've got everything sent to you, you're in the skill community. Now is the time the work happens. This is where you need to start delivering the results and getting the case studies. Because what happens when you start getting these really good case studies and results, this feeds all the way back into the start of the lead attraction. The more case studies you've got, the more you can put in your paid ads and your organic marketing. And like I mentioned previously, it adds a lot more credibility. So this is the parent growth engine. It all works in a seamless flow. You just need to make sure you're filling the top up and making sure when they come out the bottom, you're providing really good service. And like I say, it just really feeds back into all your marketing. The more case studies and testimonials you've got, the easier it's going to be. So let's just really dig into the actual meta structure and how we set up the ads. So like I mentioned, we structure things differently to other people. So what we have one campaign and 3 ad sets. The ad sets are based on top of the funnel, middle and bottom of the funnel. The top of the funnel, there's different ways to do that. You can have totally broad, which does work nowadays, especially with Meta's new update. It is able to find your ideal client as long as you provide the right inputs. The right input is the ad copy, the creative, and also any information that you've got on your account. For example, if you have customers already, upload your customer list so Meta knows who they need to target. The bigger the list, the more powerful it's going to be. So add that in. Also, if you have an engaged Instagram already and you've got a big following, great, add more weight. The more information and the better inputs you can provide to Meta, the easier it's going to be. So when it does go abroad, it knows exactly who it needs to target. The other one is middle of funnel. So this is going to be looking at people who's interacted but haven't taken the action. The bottom of the funnel for me is slightly different to how some people can set this up, just due to where I'm located in the world. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of changes in what we can do in terms of GDPR and cookie consent. So we're not allowed to have certain data. However, in the US and other places, you can. So the bottom of the funnel would be just for people who haven't sent you a DM. The ads itself, you want to have different creative variants in there. Try to have at least 10 different ads. The whole way to set up the ads was to have one. And the way Meta has updated recently, it's just not going to work. You might get a little result, however, it's not going to be scalable. When you start increasing that spend on that one structure, what happens is the frequency skyrockets because there's only so many people in that audience. And if you're using one creative, it's going to burn out really quick and you get what we call ad fatigue. By adding more creatives, that reduces that. So just make sure you're adding different creatives. So when I say different creatives, you want to be adding videos, reels, carousels, and just make sure these three are all different. So you could just have a plain sort of text overlay image, or you talking at an event, so to show that credibility, or you just sat down doing XYZ. Just make sure the image is all different. So like lifestyle, UGC, just make sure they're different. Same in the videos, just make sure the videos are different as well. So let's just quickly dive into this a little bit more. I'll zoom in a little bit. So here's the campaign structure. So as you can see, we've got the ad set of bottom of the funnel, middle, and top. So we've got Advantage Plus on for top of the funnel. You don't want to have this on for middle or bottom. You only want Meta to go after people in your custom audience. However, at the top of the funnel, we've just put entrepreneurship, or you can have completely broad, and just let Meta decide who it thinks is going to be the perfect person to go into your funnel. So the campaign objective for this as well is going to be traffic. The purpose of this is to allow Meta to send as much traffic to your profile. Think of the ads as just the amplification. You're just using the ads to push people into your world. The ads are not to sell people. Just make sure the budget is set as ad set budget, not campaign budget. The reason why, with this setup, we want ourselves to be able to control the spending on the ad sets. However, if you set a campaign budget, you're not going to be able to do that. The way this works, ABO, is if you set an ad set budget, it will spend that budget per the ad set. So what we want to do, we want to spend most of the money on top of the funnel ads, then a little bit on the sort of bottom and middle. So we will set individual budgets for each one. The budget, this comes down to what you think is sort of comfortable for yourself, the size of your business, etc. However, if we set, say, £20 for top of the funnel, maybe 5 to 10 for the bottom and middle, then that should be sufficient for me. That'll be more than enough at the minute because, like I say, my audience is very small. So my money will be going into top of the funnel. Then underneath, what we need to do for the top of the funnel, you want to be clicking on Instagram or Facebook. We're going to be sending people into Instagram. The budget and schedule, make sure you set the budget of whatever you want. The start date, always put the morning of the next day. What'll happen if you set the campaign to go live sort of midday to late on the night, it will try to spend that money. So what you'll initially see really bad metrics to start with. You want Meta not to force a spend and drive up sort of the CPMs and CPCs. Make sure you start from the next day to allow a full day of optimization. Allow Meta to not have to force the spend because it will spend the money regardless. You just make sure you're giving it the full day to do so. So make sure you start the next day. Audience controls. So this is going to be locations. So for me, this is different because I can target anyone who speaks English throughout the world. So that's fine. So on here, I've got sort of Australia, Switzerland, Germany, United Kingdom, United States, sort of the main markets. So that's what I've got set up here. So with that, just make sure you target the markets that you are able to serve. There's no point targeting the market just to get cheap traffic because it's not going to convert. So let's just have a quick look at the top of the funnel. So the top of the funnel, you want to just allow Meta to have Advantage Plus on. What this is, it's allowing Meta to use its AI technology to find who thinks is going to convert. All we want really to have on this is just the age range. There's no point targeting people who sort of maybe 70, 80 plus or maybe 18 if those are not your ideal client and these are not clients that are going to convert. Just make sure you tighten this down to people that might convert. So I put 25 to 50 for my ads because this should allow me to target sort of new parents all up to sort of maybe parents who's got like kids who sort of maybe 15, 18-ish. So they're still a parent, it's just different levels. Then the targeting, I've just put entrepreneurship, business and finance. Just make sure you're using interest. And if you want to go completely broad, all you need to do is just don't put any interest in and just leave it as it is. The next bit, I'll zoom in a little bit more, is the middle and bottom of the funnel. So the middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel, these are based on custom audiences. Like I mentioned, these are audience that's already interacted with your page or watched some of the videos. As you can see in mine, I've got Instagram video views of at least 50%. Engage with my IG content and profile visits for the last 30 days. And we've made sure we've knocked off the Advantage Plus. We do not want this on because what will happen is it'll look at these audiences. However, if it thinks it can go elsewhere and find clients, it will do. However, as these are retargeting campaigns, we do not want that. We want these retargeting ads just to solely focus on those audiences. So just make sure you turn Advantage Plus off. If you do want to create a custom audience, there's two different ways. You can go on the left-hand side and it's got custom audiences, go into that way. Or you can select the ad, create new, and it'll walk you through that. What I'll do in the next video is I'm going to be digging into more how to do this. But the main difference between top of the funnel and middle is literally just the audience. The difference between the middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel is the objective. Middle funnel is to generate the traffic. The bottom of the funnel is to get direct messages. So the bottom of the funnel, this is based on DMs, so it's going to be a slight different setup. What you need to do, you just need to make sure you select campaign objective of sender messages. Then when you get through this page, just make sure you click on message destination, maximize number of clicks, and just make sure you select your Instagram page. Once you've done that, that is the campaign ad set ready to go. The next part is the actual creative. So like I mentioned, with the creatives, just use different types. So you want to add sort of value, sort of process, demonstration, testimonial, case studies, and call to action. Just make sure you're using different ones, not all the same, different ones. So just make sure you're using different ads. So like I mentioned, use images, videos, and different variants of that as well. Just ensure that ad creators are different. This process does take time because you focus on nurturing, not selling. So it does take a bit of time to get results, but the results you will see when you start building a profile, nurturing the traffic, it's a lot more powerful to convert these people when you've went through this nurturing system. So let's just have a quick look at the different creatives you can use. So as you can see, completely different. And this is what you want. You want to provide different creatives to Meta, and that allows Meta to really optimize and decide who should see what. What you want to think of is Meta is showing these different ads to allow them to be nurtured. With the Android update, it's nurturing people in the ad sets. So all these different creatives, not only are they showing which one works best, it's allowing you to nurture people. So you can have different creatives for different parts of the funnel within inside of the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel. It's really nurturing people. So don't just focus on one campaign, one ad set, and one ad. Just make sure you're providing really good inputs. So as you can see on the left-hand side, this is what like it would look like after. So you've got this is bottom of the funnel, and you've got the 10 different creatives. All you need to do is make sure you name the creative what it is. So that's it. So this is how I'm going to grow this coaching business over the coming weeks. So this is a top line view of how the strategy works. Over the next few weeks, I'm going to be really digging into the nuances. So next video, you'll see it'll be me creating the ads, going into the creatives, really showing you what I've added to the account, going into the school community, showing you how I've set this up as well, the micro offer, the free course, the main offer, showing you behind the scenes of what I've built out and how it's all structured so it flows seamless. From that as well, there's no point running ads if you're not optimizing. So I'm going to be digging into how to optimize the ads as well, showing you how to do that. So over the next few weeks, I'm going to really show you behind the scenes on everything, how I'm growing things, optimization, showing you behind the scenes, because it's all well and good following these large creators who've got this big audience who don't really show you what to do. I want people to be able to follow through and be able to do the same for themselves.